My name is Sunday Akinlabi Dari. For nearly 3 decades, I can say that I have known or have been associated with Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In my very young days as a journalist, then an itinerant journalist, roving the streets of Jos Plateau State and the capital cities of Middle Belt, working then as a correspondent for the News and Tempo magazines and AM News. We had put together exclusive stories, investigative reports, and we had to develop sources, people who shared progressive ideas and ideals with us. And one of those that was easily drawn to us, who gave us access, gave us those critical interviews and insights into the inner workings of government, especially when it comes to the National Assembly with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It was during that time that I was lucky to meet him when he was a senator of the Federal Republic. And then we had all of this culminate into what we call the formation of NADECO. And then that led to what we got to know as the NADECO route, because several people had to escape out of the country, and it had to be the NADECO. So what was the NADECO route? You needed to get out of this country disguised through the semi-border, to Cotonou. Then you got your flight from there. Some people went through Ghana, but somebody needed to fund that. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with the power of his intellect, with the financial resources at his disposal, he put all of that together, got people out of the country, supported them when they were either in America, whether you got marooned in Ghana, whether you ended up in the UK. His tentacles were everywhere. He was able to, keep that network going. And we saw what happened eventually. That network was able to also connect with the Nigerian network, those that could not go out. I recall we had the Tel magazine, but we had the news. It was proscribed as the news magazine and then resuscitated as Tempo magazine, a broadsheet weekly magazine that was a thorn in the flesh of military dictators, from the Babangida years to the Abacha years. But eventually we saw what happened. That critical mass kept pushing until we had a divine intervention. But even if that divine intervention had not come, we had gotten to a breaking point, and the pro-democratic movement will have succeeded in unseating the military. Eventually, we saw the return of democracy, and then we saw the return of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to participate in the democratic process in 1999. One might be tempted to say all of that is now history. Yeah, definitely, but it's not history we should forget in a hurry, because some people stood up to be counted. And here we're talking about a track record of service, a track record of stewardship, a track record of consistency. He's the man that has remained a progressive, never changed his parties. His principles and his ideals about politics have been consistent. That is the hallmark of a man. Whether in politics, whether in business, you must cut a niche for yourself. I think he has done that over the decades. And, I tell people to a very large extent, I can tell my story. When he became governor and he was looking for building a media team, I was one of those he tapped on to be part of that media team. And then a few days to my resuming work with him, I got an award letter to study at Harvard University, precisely 23 years ago. I got the Harvard Nieman Fellowship. And ordinarily, I wanted to just stay back and just continue with the process. And he said, listen, I know you would like to work with me, but I think this opportunity, it's more important. That's a father, somebody who believed in the youth. I was a young person then. He said, go to Harvard University. You can come back and still be able to work here. And I tell you, I couldn't take that decision right there then, but he helped me to take it. I went to Harvard 23 years ago, and things have never been the same. It's been an upward trajectory. And when I finished my program there, I came to see him, and he said, well, you've done well for yourself, but this time you must rejoin the struggle to end the PDP rule of our country. You must rejoin the opposition. We must brainstorm together and see how we can do this. And he offered me a job, very informally, to say, I think you should stay here. Let's work together for the sake of this country. And that's how I became his media advisor and also his chief of staff. That's how we work together, he in the front, leading with the power of his thoughts. You know, it's amazing how when I see people talk about, oh, he's weak, he can't do this, he can't do that. For 7 solid years, I worked with him as a chief of staff. We spent between 20 and 21 hours on a daily basis, every single day of the week. And you're even scared to get tired because the man never stops. And then if you think you can duck for an hour, he's going to call you, where are you? And we hold meetings. People come from all over the country. And he sits at those meetings. I'm taking notes. He's also leading the conversation. And we're there from AM to AM. We start off at 10, 11. We wrap up at 4 AM. Sometimes we have meetings in multiple locations. You're finishing one meeting in Bodono, you're rushing to another office, you're going to Freedom House. It's like that. You travel at the drop of the hat. Simple, basically. One time we had to travel and I was struggling to go pick my bag. And he said, all you need to travel is your passport. You can buy any other thing when you get there. Even before you arrive where you're going, there are meetings lined up. So I've worked with this man, that is Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I've seen a man diligent in the pursuit of good governance. A man diligent in giving opportunities to the young, but also to the old. And it reminds me very clearly of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, who in one of his books said, when men of Asiwaju are carousing the streets in the dead of the night, I sit to burn the midnight oil to find solutions to the issues and the problems of our time. When you recast that, I think Asiwaju's life typifies that. Several nocturnal meetings, bringing experts together to discuss issues, getting papers written, supporting the dreams and careers of so many people. Nigerians from all walks of life, from all ethnic groups. I have seen that. I've been at the ringside, at close quarters, even in unguarded moments when you would think that he would lose his train of thought. He is on point to say, this is what we want to do. This is where we were before. And I think that when you fast forward to where we are now, Asiwaju was meant for this. He is a man of the moment. When you talk about the caliber of leadership that this country needs, I can count at the tip of my finger the number of great minds and leaders that have been opportune to serve, to work with at close quarters, but also great minds that have impacted their societies and communities and country. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu stands tall among this very tiny tribe of great minds. I can speak about my own experience working with him, not just as an aide or chief of staff, but as a partner, a thinking partner, a planning partner, a partner in execution. He is a man that challenges you to be your best, gives you assignment and tasks that you like. How will I achieve that? And he says, you can do it. If it is not done the way he wants, he's one to sit with you. He's not only a leader, he's a teacher. The same concentration he gives a young person discussing the problems that he or she has is the same concentration he gives somebody who is powerful and high and mighty in the society. So an engagement with him is a personal engagement, able to give you his attention, able to give you his time, and able to find solutions to your problems. And I think that for the time we're in as a country, Nigeria has indeed come of age. We need leaders like him to propel Nigeria further, to drive us deeper into the direction that we want to go. We want a leader who will also be able to bring together a tribe of Nigerians who can impact every sector of our lives. And for me, I'm grateful to have been able to serve a man like that. The lives he has impacted in terms of the appeal he has across the length and breadth of this country. That man is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Because you have living testimonies and testimonials. You have a lot of examples of how in extremely difficult situations, by the sheer power of his ideas and conviction, he's been able to overcome some of the most difficult aspects of governance. While a governor, but also while an ex-governor, this man had never departed from the lounge of political development and the challenges that come with it. While others have slept off, while others have departed to other areas of life, he has stood very firmly in the waters of political development and democratic development. And that is why his name continues to re-echo through the years. A woman calls from Maiduguri. And I said, why are you picking the call? He said, this call has been coming in for a few days. Let me pick it. And he says, who are you? And the woman said, oh, it's me. And he said, how did you get my phone? He said, somebody gave me your number. The person told me, if you pick my call, my situation will change. And he says, what is the problem that you have? And she said, somebody was sick in our family. She needed money for medicals. They were struggling to feed as a family. Then he asked for her name. I was standing in his office with Paul and a few other aides. And he said, okay, this is your number. You live in Maiduguri. I'm going to send somebody to you tomorrow. They will bring money to you. And he told me, call Paul. Paul, pick up this money, get a ticket, and go to Maiduguri and give this woman money in the millions of naira. And I stood there, I'm like, okay, excuse me. You don't even know. And Paul went, identified this woman, gave her a message from Asiwaju, and came back. End of story. He did that and he moved on. I'm not sure he's ever heard from the woman or seen the woman. So these are very rare developments that you see. I decided to stay on the stories that had direct human impact because it opens up our mind to the kind of person Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is. The whole essence of government and leadership is to impact people's lives, to support the young and old when they need help. The whole essence of government policies is also to make life better and abundant for the citizens. So you need someone who has an ingrained nature of helping without asking whether you're male or female, without asking whether you're Hausa or Igbo or Yoruba. The fact that you're a Nigerian and the fact that you can find your way to him either through communications, through a telephone call, or somebody is able to get you in front of him, or is able to hear your story and send help to you. Imagine if this person has the powers in it, the resources in it. I think it can drive policies that will impact the larger majority of our citizens in Nigeria. We saw on the roadside women selling corn, some selling brooms, just selling all sorts on the street, traders. And then smack in the middle of a convoy, rushing for a political rally, he told the driver to stop. The car came to a screeching halt in front of a woman who was selling corn and had brooms on her side. And Asiwaju came down and said, "Mama, how much is all of this?" She was really stunned. She didn't. So he just took her the word of money, gave the woman, and said, "For all of this." The video of the woman, unless you saw what she did, she kind of spinned around. She was confused and almost wanted to start running. And we had to call her because she's never seen such level of benevolence. So we packed the broom. We didn't take the corner. It was like, this money is too much. Pack everything. Pack everything. But the moment we did it and we moved on, we were talking about, no, he had switched. He is the candidate that we need. He is the candidate that can deliver for this country. And that's my Asiwaju story.